It's Mac with 9B4M Family Adventures, and today I'm on another adventure. This time, thousands of miles away from my normal area. We're in Texas, not just any town in Texas. We're in San Antonio, Texas, home of the Alamo and the Armadillo. With a metropolitan population of 2.6 million, San Antonio is the 7th largest city in the United States. Founded in 1718, San Antonio is steeped in American culture and history. I'm in San Antonio, Texas, and we're gonna spend a whole day here just going around the city, seeing everything we can see. Of course, we're gonna start at the Alamo. It's the middle of the day already, so I have to go get something to eat. But the first thing I wanna do is find a great taco place, Southwest Tex-Mex, that's what I'm looking for. Also some barbecue, I'm looking forward to that as well. With this being my first trip to San Antonio, I had no idea where to go to eat, but any taco place that's right beside the Alamo has to be good, so I stopped in at Margarita Tacos. Locals eating in the restaurant gave me all the confidence that I needed to know that I picked the right restaurant to have lunch.
Hello, thank you. Can I get a number one, this is a Babe Ruth, and number 4?
And number 4?
Yeah.
And we like corn or flour tortilla?
Flour?
Flour.
Also, queso and
Sat down for 2 minutes and they already brought my food out to me. And we have a steak fajita. We have a steak taco here. I call it fajita. Steak taco here. We have a chicken taco, both on flour shells and some chips and queso with the soda. This is gonna be our first real meal here in San Antonio. So let's check this out.
So this meal is exactly what I've been waiting on, guys. You know, you can't really get these flavors outside of Southwest Texas. Other places can make tacos and queso, but there's nothing like getting it in Southwest Texas. You get this authentic Tex-Mex in Texas. You can't beat these flavors.
Phenomenal meal, guys. Steak taco, chicken taco from the Margarita Taco place. That was right across from the Alamo. They said they only opened up 6 months ago. Wow, the food tastes like it has so much flavor. The cooks aren't new. The restaurant even new, but the cooks aren't new. So, just a great first start. Every state of the United States has its own flag, and every state citizen loves their state flag. But no state and no one loves their state flag as much as Texans. There's a pride in Texas that just doesn't exist anywhere else in the U.S. Guys, first off, there's nothing like being in Southwest Texas because it is nice and about 65 degrees, toasty warm. Maybe to walk around with just a t-shirt on. Picked up a ticket going into the Alamo. You can get a free ticket, or you can do a guided tour, or you can do an audio tour. Those cost money. I'm gonna do the free version because I did a lot of reading and studying this morning before I came in, and I think I'm good to just kind of do a quick walkthrough on my own. It is pretty impressive. America doesn't have a lot of old history. The Alamo is definitely part of American history. For those unfamiliar with the Alamo, I'll give you a brief summary. In 1836, Texas was a part of Mexico. Due to new laws being instituted by the Mexican government, the Texians decided to revolt. These laws were related to immigration and bans on slavery. Having none of their revolt, President General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, the Mexican president, decided to take his troops north into Texas to fight against the revolting Texians. A pivotal battle in this war with Mexico happened between February the 23rd and March the 6th of 1836, which was the Battle of the Alamo. The Texans lost the Battle of the Alamo, and about 200 Texans were killed, to include William Travis, James Bowie, and Davy Crockett. All three of those men are giants in American folklore and American history. Their defeat and deaths led to the rallying cry, "Remember the Alamo." The Texans ultimately defeated the Mexican army, captured Santa Anna, and gained their independence, which Texas was an independent nation for about 10 years before joining the United States. If you can't read this, it says, "Welcome. Please remember the Alamo Church is a place of reverence and reflection. We ask that you kindly lower your voice and remove your hat for here, heroes died to blaze a trail for all Texans." So there's a lot of sensors set up around the Alamo. They're doing a lot of moisture testing. This is going to help the people who work for preservation to be able to maintain and secure this building for future generations. Managing moisture is going to be critical for these old stone structures to have a long life ahead of them. I'm noticing up above me that there's a roof. Now, historically, the Alamo did not have a roof on it, but this has been added. And that's going to definitely help this structure last a lot longer.
A beautiful tree.
This is the same tree? Wow.
They did everything by hand, a transplant. Can you believe that?
Wow, yeah.
They brought it in a cart.
Oh, God.
And it was already a big tree. It was like
Yeah.
big.
So this massive oak tree behind me was transported to the Alamo in 1913. It was already 40 years old at that time. And look at it still going and growing. That is really impressive. That is really impressive. First off, the fact that they moved a 40-year-old tree is impressive. It was an Englishman who did that. But the fact that they moved the tree in 1913, it was 40 years old then, and it's still going and growing strong. Again, the American history is not as old as some countries' history, but there is a beautiful history here in the U.S.
Be breech loaded too?
Everything had to be front loaded.
Yes.
Yeah, front the muzzle loaded.
Right.
Yeah, everything's loaded. Cannons, rifles, pistols.
Right now, so it's about 4 or 5 feet tall almost, huh? And the men weren't that tall, baby.
Yeah.
They were as tall as they were.
Hello?
Hello. Hello. This makeshift artillery here?
Yeah, these are all reproduction pieces, they're not artifacts, right?
Right.
But this is what cannon round's gonna look like as it's going inside the barrel, right? When you're
Okay.
loading a cannonball, you're not taking your round shot like that. You're not rolling that down the barrel like you see in cartoons.
Okay.
It's gonna go inside the cannon like this. You're gonna have a cloth bag here. It's gonna be wrapped all together with the shot itself. It's gonna be black powder in here, right? That explosive black powder. It's already gonna be measured. I'm gonna know how much powder is in here. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about measuring my shot between shots, right? It's gonna be all wrapped together so it goes inside the cannon in one smooth step, right? It's gonna speed up that process, right? With this cloth bag right here, it's all just gonna get eviscerated. None of this is, coming out of the cannon. Only that ball is being, ejected out of it. That's how it's gonna look like. All of these shots, they are all gonna have a cloth bag behind it, just kind of like that.
Okay. So what about this one on the end with its own fuse in it?
With its own fuse in it. This is a case shot. It looks like a hand grenade, right? Sort of, right? It works like a hand grenade, but this is also gonna be 6 pounds. It's gonna weigh the same amount as that. You're not gonna be able to throw this thing very far at all. It's designed to be fired out of this 6-pounder cannon, right? It's designed to be fired over your head, right? And the fuse, so it times, so it blows up above you, right? It's gonna get guys that are hiding behind walls, inside the ground, inside of trenches, right? It's gonna rain down little bits of metal at you, right? The guy who invents this, 1784, his name was Henry Shrapnel, right? That's where shrapnel comes from. It's gonna rain
Really?
down little bits of metal at you, little bits of shrapnel, right? That's where that name comes from. Santa Anna, his army, they would have had case shots like this. Although his artillerymen were probably more focused on battering down these Alamo walls than they were firing off these. But they have found remnants of case shots here at the Alamo battle site. The Alamo defenders would not have had these.
The rifle's a little different animal to load. It's got rifling in it. You'd have to measure the amount of powder each time, and each ball had to be wrapped in a greased cloth. A little different animal. So then you got to hammer it down. A rifle with somebody who knew how to use it. You can hit your target at 350, 400 yards. Musket's only good for about 75 yards, and the ball's going to go one way or the other. But this could be loaded and fired 3 to 4 times a minute, as opposed to 1 time a minute for a rifle. So if you're on the battlefield, you want this. You don't want this thing. On the sidelines, behind a wall, you want your rifle. Yes,
So to that point, did they have any extra weapons where someone can fire and hand it off and then get the next one?
The Alamo defenders didn't. I mean, there you got 189 people here. They didn't have time to. What they did have that helped, though, they had confiscated about several hundred British brown vessels from General Coase's army when they overtook the Alamo in 1835 before Santa Anna arrived. So say Crockett had his rifle with him, which he did, he would have 3 or 4 British brown vessels right next to him as the other Alamo defenders. Just wasn't, on that morning of March 6th, there wasn't enough time to even reload. Because once they get over that wall, it's over an hour and a half. It's 5:30 in the morning.
And you said this has a range, you said 300-400 yards?
Yes, the rifle.
The rifle?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the right hands.
In the right hand. So he knows what they're doing, yes.
Yeah, that's
Crockett used to say, he was a marksman.
Yeah.
And a lot of those guys on the frontier were good shots because this is their HEB store, you know.
That's how they
That's how they
survive,
eat.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a military weapon.
Yeah.
Smooth bore. This one happens, and they would have been a surplus weapon. A lot of guys had been in militia units before they arrived here, and this was a model 1816 Harper's Ferry. The most dominant weapon here was the British brown vest, English weapon. 1821, the people here win their independence from Spain. This was Spain for over 300 years, and now it's Mexico. And they don't have an arsenal for the troops. All they got is some worn out Spanish stuff and maybe some surplus stuff they got. So they need some good weapons. England had just defeated Napoleon 6 years before. England's got a massive amount of inventory of British brown vessels and a massive amount of financial debt. England's going to sell those weapons to anybody and everybody around the world to pay their debt down, except French and Americans, for obvious reasons. So Mexico's going to buy over 400,000 of these things. $3 for used ones, $12 for new ones.
So
There's
what
more
are
British brown vessels here than anything. Yes, sir.
These are original. They're not.
No,
replicas.
these are replicas.
Okay.
We shoot these. These are, if they were originals, they'd be over in the museum.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah, these are made in Italy. A fellow by the name Pedersoli makes them. He also
In Italy?
In Italy.
Wow.
He also owns a Beretta here in the United States.
Okay.
He does a magnificent job.
In the grounds of the Alamo, and it is absolutely a historical point. If you make your way to San Antonio, you should definitely swing by the most well-known location in San Antonio, even more than a Riverwalk, is the Alamo. But as a Black American, I will admit that there's a bit of a twisted and complex history for me. There were Black men who fought on behalf of the Texas rebels who all died in 1836 when they lost the battle here to the Mexican president. At the same time, the reason for the rebellion is shrouded in history, but it also is in part because Texas wanted to keep slaves and they weren't ready to let go of their slaves. So that is a bit of the history. However, if that battle had not happened, Texas would never become its own independent nation. I grew up as a kid uttering the phrase, "Remember the Alamo." Everyone knows it where I grew up at. It was a part of school. We learned about it. I mean, I'm from Arkansas, one state over from Texas. So Texas history is very much alive, and I've always heard about the Alamo as a part of American history, but American history itself is a bit complicated. Without getting into all of the historical nuance, you can still appreciate the Alamo for what it is, a part of American history. At the same time, it is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The Alamo is part of a complex of sites that is a part of UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and I love going to UNESCO World Heritage Sites. A lot of history is complicated, and you can't always break it down and break out all those pieces of it, but you can appreciate the respect and the reverence for the people who did die here at this site, the rallying cry that came out of it that has survived through generations and down through the years. Even to me in my lifetime, we reference Remember the Alamo. It's absolutely American history. But let's move on and see what else is here in San Antonio. Like I said, there's a lot of great history here in San Antonio at the Alamo, but I'm losing daylight. The day is, I only have one day, guys, so let's get moving. Let's go check out some more in San Antonio. Leaving the Alamo, now we're heading over to Pearl Brewery. I think this used to be a brewery area. I think it's more of a commercial area now. I think there's also potentially some holiday Christmas type things there, maybe even a Christmas market. Let's go check it out. So I just made it to the San Antonio Pearl District. Looks nice, reminds me of a couple of areas that I've been in Washington, D.C., kind of around Boston, and out in Arlington. So let me go in and check this out. Kind of a commercial district, looks like mixed commercial residential. Let's see if there's anything more to it. Shop Small is a small business. Rancho Diaz. Let's take a quick look in here, see what we have. Just some look like home goods, some very unique Christmas ornaments. I'm not surprised to see Texas on a Christmas ornament. Texas is very fond of Texas. Everyone knows that. Texas loves Texas. It's kind of a small business. Some other things here reminds me of a bit of, I think it's apostrophe. No, it's not. Anthropology. It's a store in I think DC area. This reminds me of that. Kind of a unique and eclectic mix of different items. Put this in the knick-knack and home goods category. Looks nice. Maybe Blair would enjoy this store a little bit more than myself, but let's continue on in the Pearl District. So again, looks like just a mixture of some nice shops, mixed residential with shops. Very upscale, appears to be really new and modern. I'll be completely honest with you, the rest of San Antonio doesn't give off the same modern vibe that I'm seeing here. This looks really new, like it's just put in within the last few years, and the rest of San Antonio has a much older look to it. That's not a complaint. It's good to see cities revitalizing themselves. Prior to its current life as a mixed-use residential commercial area, the Pearl District in San Antonio dates back to 1883, when it was one of the largest breweries in the United States, and it brewed an iconic Texas beer, which was the Pearl beer, which it brewed from 1883 to 2001. I wish I got a chance to try that before it went out of business. Okay, so I'm looking and there's a food hall here. Let's go check out this food hall. Okay, so this is giving me a really great vibes. I've been in places like this before. My favorite one is in Birmingham, Baltic Market. This is giving me Baltic Market vibes. Here we have Wonder Slice, which is a really nice place here. I'm pretty sure this is local. You may can't find this anywhere else. And here is Park Bar on the other side. This one says it's closed for the day. I think it's El Dorado Diner. Oh, this looks really good. Tortilla chips simmered and a choice of salsa topped off with Mexican cream, fresco cheese, pickled red onions, avocado, and a touch of cilantro, served with a side of black beans. Boy, that sounds tasty. I kind of wish I hadn't ate. I've already eaten, but boy, that looks really good. I really like those t-shirts. I may pick up one. And then we have a Caribbean street food. Unfortunately, if I look back here, the grill for the Caribbean street food is cold. This location is not open today. And then down on the end, Tenko ramen noodle shop, closed for maintenance. So the food hall is like it's down a few shops here. A couple of them are closed, but the ones that are open look pretty good. You don't see it packed out with a lot of people. It really is the middle of the day. But this is a really nice little food hall. I like it. It's not the largest food hall I've been in. Baltimore Market and Liverpool is a bit bigger, but still the overall design here is really nice. Some of this 1950s type artwork on the wall. One thing that's really impressive about San Antonio is the way the Riverwalk, I'm on the North Riverwalk, which is this kind of right here behind me. The way this cuts through this entire downtown area and really just across the city. And it's just one long continuous path. So if you're into walking, that would be great, because I'm pretty sure in total we end up being miles upon miles upon miles of walking. But I'm really enjoying this Pearl District. It appears to be, again, mixed use. I think if you were interested in getting some food, it would be great for that. Some pubs down here, that would probably be really nice as well. Probably some nice beer. The breweries are probably really good. I'm gonna go to a Japanese garden. That just sounds so interesting. The fact that there'd be a Japanese garden here in San Antonio, and it's only about 6 minutes away. So that's where we're heading to next. A Japanese garden, to see what that looks like in San Antonio. It's really tiny and you're not gonna really be able to read it, but it says the idea for a Japanese tea garden was conceived by the city park commissioner in the early 1900s as an effort to beautify rock quarries which had been abandoned by the San Antonio Portland Cement Company. So guys, this is one of the most beautiful and unexpected sights. I was not expecting to find such a beautiful Japanese tea garden here in Southwest Texas. It is really nice because what they took was an old quarry and repurposed it and created something really beautiful out of it. And it's very wonderfully maintained. And they're beautiful koi all over the place. Just really impressive. Well done, San Antonio. Well done. So as you walk around the garden, you actually begin to climb steps to head up the walls of the quarry. I love the way they designed that. The walkways kind of lead you across and then up. It's a pretty deep quarry, so it's a lot of steps to get up to the top. You guys know I'm always doing activities that require a lot of stepping, a lot of steps. All right, I'm here at the top now, but I love the way they used what was available here and what matches the local ecology. When I was down low under the waterfall, I could feel that the water is pretty cool. Way cooler than the surface temperature or the air temperature. I think the water is chilled, which makes a lot of sense because koi are cold water fish, and these summer temperatures down here in Southwest Texas, even in the wintertime, could get a little steamy for those big beautiful koi. So they probably chill that water a bit to make it more hospitable for the koi. So I could have come out to the Riverwalk in the daylight, but I knew it would look so much better to be out here right now at nighttime when it's all lit up with the Christmas lights. Let me show you what the Riverwalk in San Antonio looks like. I think it's the greatest highlight in this city. Let's check it out. The history of the San Antonio Riverwalk dates back to 1921 when there was a massive flood along the San Antonio River. As a result of the flood, a dam was placed on the San Antonio River, and what started as flood control turned into what became a beautiful resource for economic growth and development, which you can see displayed today. Some nice little ducks down here doing their nighttime routine. Okay, so I see everyone going up and down in these little river barges, and I think I'm going to have to try to get on one of these because it looks really, really cool. And then telling a little bit of the history. It should be great. The San Antonio Riverwalk is 15 miles long and flows through about 5 miles of the downtown San Antonio area. This was by far my best part of the entire San Antonio day and experience. The Riverwalk is clearly the heart of the city and by far the premier tourist attraction to San Antonio, and the best way to experience it is on the river barge. Of course, you can't get on and off, but one loop through the downtown area on the barge just gives you a good overview of everything that's kind of available along the Riverwalk.
Okay, this is where it all started. This is one of the first settlements by the Spaniards here. In 1722, they settled this area, called it La Villita, was a military post. In the 1800s, it became a neighborhood from mostly French and German migrants. Now it's a beautiful place to shop and dine. You can visit over 300 galleries and artisan workshops, so it's beautiful.
One of the newest additions to the Riverwalk is a giant 16-foot sculpture created by Mexican artist Pedro Reyes. It is a beautiful sculpture entitled Stargazer. It's made of Mexican volcanic stone and marble. The artwork was installed in 2022, but the placement of it and the way the bridges connects to it, you would think it's been there for years.
You know, I really like cities that have canals, and the Riverwalk is basically a nice canal that runs through downtown San Antonio. It's a great design. Whoever thought about putting it in is wonderful. Of course, they said they put it in after a flood, so you know that tragedy led to something really, really nice. I think this is probably the best part of San Antonio. Skip the history, come to the Riverwalk. If you don't do anything else, you'll definitely enjoy that. My only regret is that I did this alone. I don't have Blair, I don't have the kids with me, and it would have been so much fun. So we're gonna come back to San Antonio to do this with the whole family, kind of do it together and not just me alone. Okay, so now we've done the boat ride. Let's go see what some of the bars are like here tonight and see what else we can get into in San Antonio.
My night ended with an activity that can only take place in Texas. I don't know anywhere else in the world where you could race an armadillo. That's right, that little thing crawling around on the ground, an armadillo. I raced an armadillo. Take a look.
Just chase them, shoot. You're going to chase your armadillo to the other end. You're going to turn it around and bring it back to the finish line. You are. Get set. Go. All right, take it back to that end. One foot at a time. 1 second, Dan.
You know, one thing I can say about San Antonio, I can't say this about any other place in the world. I don't know anywhere else. Well, I would have the opportunity to get on my hands and knees and race with the armadillo. That was a lot of fun. That was so much fun. Yeah, I said it. I raced with an armadillo. Rewind the video back, take another look. I did it. That is one of my life achievements, racing with armadillos. Overall, guys, I'm very impressed with San Antonio, a large metropolitan city that I can see is doing a lot to revitalize itself, to bring itself into a next generation that's modern. They have a really nice convention center. The Riverwalk is great. The Alamo is a nice history they're protecting. It's a little rough around the edges here and there, but overall, a great place to visit. If you want something different, San Antonio is definitely the great spot for that. And then the food. I wish I had more time to be here to enjoy more of the food. I really miss that nice Tex-Mex flavors. Those have been wonderful. San Antonio is ranking pretty high. There's a lot of other places to visit, but if you can make it to San Antonio, I don't think you'll regret that decision. Where am I off to next? Who knows? First, I'm heading back to the UK, link back up with the family. It's been a great time here, but I do miss all my little people and hanging out with Blair. And it's a lot more fun when I'm traveling with him. Hey guys, like and subscribe, follow along with the family. We'll keep having family adventures and I want to take you along with us. So come along
But until the next time, take care.